Hey Bears, Eric here, and we have to talk about this Michael Rappaport clip that is going around on social media. I'm seeing it all over the place. The clip in question is about 42 or 43 seconds long, but it's taken from a longer segment. It's like 11-minute segment from PBD podcast, and I've watched almost all of that, but I see this clip floating around. I see people reacting to this clip where apparently Michael Rappaport, who is very anti-Trump, has been denouncing Trump since 2016, maybe before that, been very gone viral on social media for this, very progressive guy. Apparently now, according to them, he's MAGA 2024. It's in the bag. He's out there campaigning for Trump now, according to a lot of these guys. And in this clip where he talks about, and we're going to watch the clip, he talks about an out of context quote from Trump being used by the media to mislead people, which now his clip here from this podcast is now being used to mislead people. Let's watch this quote, this little clip here, and then we're going to watch another segment from the podcast that shows that he did not, in fact, endorse Trump. It's still a dangerous situation, and I want to talk about that as well. We'll cover all that after we watch this, so let's put this together. Okay, here's the 43-second clip that's floating around on social media.
Yes. You also acknowledge that
because I will also acknowledge that that one thing about the Charlottesville that I ranted about.
Yes,
and I was wrong
about the both sides thing. Yeah,
yeah, and I respect
so irresponsible,
and I respect the shit out of it.
Wait, let me hear him out. Hang on, go a little bit more. What do you mean by that? You were wrong on that.
No, because he said the both sides. There's good people on both sides, and when you see the full quote, that wasn't what he said, and I ranted on him hard for that. Hard. There's some video about it, whatever. Yeah. I mean, I ranted hard because I was like, what are you talking about, man?
Because you got played. And here's what this is why. Yes.
Okay, so that's where the clip stops. And he's talking about the Trump thing from Charlottesville where he talked about fine people on both sides. And that the longer portion of that segment talks about how he condemns the I'm not going to say the word here, and white nationalists and all of that. He condemns that, but then talks about people there to defend the monuments of a general, piece of American history, blah, blah, blah. And even reading that quote, I still feel like anybody who condemned his comments were talking specifically about the fact that the comment itself out of context is the one that people are running with. And that's the thing that sounds awful. But you have to dig a little bit deeper, but it was out of context. And so he's admitting that here, which doesn't change my opinion about it all. It doesn't change a lot of people's opinions about it. However, this does not mean he is endorsing Donald Trump. Let's watch a little bit from that podcast, another small segment where he talks about whether or not he's going to actually vote for Trump or Biden.
And at the end of the day, I'm a reasonable person.
Yeah.
So like you said initially, I think I'm going to consider this.
I'm considering.
When he says consider this, he's talking about voting for Trump. There was a bunch of stuff there we're not going to listen to.
Yes. But to pull that, I don't know, we don't pull levers anymore. Yeah. Actually pull that lever.
Yeah, pulling the lever for Biden.
And then I'm going to tell you right now, I won't vote. I'm not voting for Biden.
No.
I'm not voting for Kamala. I'm not,
But then you can't talk shit. And you need to be able to talk shit.
Well, wait a minute. So you're saying, so for you,
I won't vote for them.
So no matter what, that decision is
that
final.
Ain't happening.
Okay.
No, I'm not. That's not happening.
What?
For Kamala,
I'm not voting
or
for
anybody.
Biden.
Well, but Mikey, what about anybody else? What about?
So he goes on to talk about not voting for anybody else, et cetera, et cetera. But nowhere in there does he endorse Trump. Now, I'm not defending him playing the centrist role on this podcast. I think there's a little bit of danger in doing that. I think there's a little bit of I'm not going to be, I'm not targeted by any of the problems that are going on in this country. So I'm just going to, I can afford to do this. I can afford to not plant my feet on either side of the argument here. And I get that. I get it. There's a lot of people that do this, like this centrist thing is very popular on social media. I don't think people are true centrists. I think a lot of people believe they are. I don't think they're true centrists. But let me tell you why it's so easy and why it's so appealing to do what Michael is doing. If, in fact, this is a pivot for him from defending marginalized people, being anti-Trump, if this is a pivot for him into the conservative space, the reason why is there are tons of pay pigs. You pay pigs out there line up to throw money at these podcast guys for saying the thing. You're willing to part with your money. You're willing to, use credit cards. You're willing to pull out mortgages on your house. You're willing to spend all this money just to hear people reinforce your biases. That's why they do it. That's why they're willing to go out and say bigoted stuff, use slurs, do all this other shit. They're willing to do it because there's money in it. They would not be doing this if it were not profitable. And I will stand by that. I truly believe that. If it were not profitable, if there were no pot of gold at the end of all this, they would not be doing it. I honestly, I just truly believe that. You can take that for what it is. And the reason why there's so much money in the conservative space is because that is the majority. Those are people that do not suffer the same problems as marginalized communities. Marginalized communities do not have the kind of income or the kind of power or the privilege or the ability to pay people to say things that they like. That's why when you are in the space and you're out here defending marginalized communities and you're doing these kinds of things, you are doing it because you truly feel like it's the right thing to do. That is why you're doing it. If you're in the other space where you're sitting online and you're getting donations of $500, $1,000, you're getting people to buy merch, millions of dollars of merch and stuff like that, they are doing it because you are echoing their biases on screen. You're saying it. You are selling them this culture war. You are selling them all of this stuff, and they have the means to spend money on what you're saying. If you look around in the progressive space, in the left space, you will see that the vast majority of people doing that do not make money off of doing that. It's not a very financially griftable space. Now, you can do it for internet clout, I guess. If that's money to you, that's fine. But in the conservative space, it is about money, 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 whether it be fandom stuff like with Friday Night Tights, Geeks and Gamers, any of that stuff. It's all about echoing and parroting the stuff, the biases of the people that are watching your content. That is why they do it. Tomorrow, like a lot of you guys, and I'm going to put this out there. Tomorrow, if I wanted to wake up and go, you know what, screw all of this stuff. I'm going to start supporting, conservative values. I'm going to start denouncing my own community. I'm going to start doing like MAGA 2024. I'm going to start doing all that tomorrow. If I did that as a gay guy, I would be invited on all of these different podcasts because I would be one of the good ones, right? Doesn't matter what I did before. Look how they're welcoming Michael here with open arms. And all these grifters out now are sharing this clip and going, hey, look, he's woken up. He's waking up. He's awake to all of the stuff that's happening. And now they're accepting him in. So all of a sudden now it's cool. If I were to go out tomorrow and be like, hey, look, I was wrong about everything. And now this is how I feel, blah, blah, blah. I start denouncing all of this stuff. All of a sudden I would shift into this like money-making space where people would invite me on because they could make money off of me. I could make money off of them. And it would turn into this like clout/currency exchange over culture wars. That's what would happen. A lot of people in the comment section, and you hate to admit this, but it's true. If I were a gay dude saying like all these negative things about trans people, all these negative things about gay people, all these negative things about Hollywood, all this extra stuff or whatever, if I were doing that, you would see me on other podcasts. You'd be shouting me out. You'd be saying, oh, he's one of the cool gay guys. You start tipping me a bunch of money and stuff like that. It would be very lucrative financially for me to do that. So it doesn't shock me when I see someone who would suffer absolutely no consequences economically or anything like that from shifting their position from more progressive to more conservative. When I see that happen, it's no surprise. It's no surprise to me because there's money and there's pay pigs in the conservative space. Do I think that Michael is going to shift and all of a sudden start supporting Trump? I don't think so, but I don't know. If he finds out he can grift this stuff, maybe, possibly, but it just goes to show how dangerous it is, especially in election year, for people who say they're allies to all of a sudden start chasing the money. I couldn't be the one to do it. Maybe he is.